Today, we're going to dive into one of the greatest stories in the history of life on Earth. I'm talking about the incredible step-by-step invention of the eye. It's a story that literally starts in total darkness and ends with an evolutionary Big Bang that changed our planet forever. No, really, just take a second and try to imagine that. No colors, no shapes, no stars in the sky. Absolutely nothing but the sensation of touch and the faint chemical whispers of whatever is right next to you. For the vast majority of our planet's history, that was the reality. Life was a slow, reactive, kind of localized affair. But then something started to happen. A new sense began to emerge, and it would give its owners what was basically a superpower. Okay, so let's get into it. The journey to vision doesn't start with a fully formed eye, not even close. It begins with something far simpler. It all starts with a single cell that just learned a new trick. This is it, the photoreceptor. This is kind of the atom of vision. It's a simple cell with proteins inside that react when a photon of light hits them. It can't see an image, it can't see color, it can only do one very simple thing: tell the organism if it's in the light or if it's in the dark. That's it. And that simple ability, it was a total game changer. Think about it. For a microscopic organism just floating in the ocean, up was where the life-giving sun was, and down was, well, the dark abyss. Knowing the difference was literally a matter of survival. But, just knowing light on or light off isn't quite enough. The next great evolutionary leap was figuring out where that light was coming from. And this is a really important point. We are still a long way from forming a picture of the world. The goal here was just directionality, turning that simple light detector into a kind of biological compass. So how did nature solve this problem? Well, the solution is just brilliantly simple. A flat patch of these photoreceptor cells just gets blasted by light from all directions. But by simply sinking that patch into a little pit, creating a cup, the walls of that cup start to cast a shadow. So now, light can only enter from a more specific direction, giving the organism its very first sense of where that light is. And this new skill came with huge advantages. An organism could now actively move towards the sunlight for energy, or maybe move away from it to avoid getting fried by UV rays. And, maybe most important of all, it could detect the sudden shadow of a predator swimming overhead and, get out of there. All right, so with directionality locked down, the stage was finally set for the main event, transforming the simple light-detecting cup into a true image-forming eye. This is where it gets really good. As that cup got deeper and the opening at the top got smaller and smaller, something amazing started to happen. It turned into a natural pinhole camera. By restricting the light to just a tiny opening, it actually focused the light rays onto the cells at the back, forming the very first, very blurry image of the outside world. But there was a major trade-off with the pinhole eye. See, a tiny hole creates a sharp image, sure, but it lets in very little light, which makes that image incredibly dim. So what was the solution? Evolve a lens. A lens is just a transparent structure that can bend light, allowing for a much bigger opening that gathers tons of light, while still focusing it to a sharp point. And that was the final piece of the puzzle. The lens created an eye that was both bright and focused. It was the invention that allowed life to not just see light and shadow, but to finally see the world in, well, high definition. So here's the crucial point. The evolution of a true lensed eye wasn't just a win for the creatures that had them. No, this was an event that completely reshaped the entire planet and the whole future of life on it. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's absolutely astonishing. The basic building blocks of vision show up, and then, in what is basically a geological blink of an eye, you see the beginning of the Cambrian explosion, the single greatest burst of animal diversity in Earth's history. And that is not a coincidence. This quote just perfectly captures the new reality. Before the eye, a creature only knew about the world what it could physically touch or taste. After the eye, the world just opened up. Danger and opportunity could now be spotted from a distance. And the effect is crystal clear when you look at it like this. The moment complex eyes appeared on the scene, the number of different animal body plans, what we call phyla, just skyrocketed. Sight was the trigger, no doubt about it. It kicked off the very first great evolutionary arms race. Predators evolved sharper eyes to hunt better, which meant prey had to evolve better eyes to escape. This constant back and forth, this pressure, it forced life to develop shells and camouflage and speed and all kinds of complex new behaviors. Vision was like pouring gasoline on the fire of evolution. So, after this incredible journey from a single light-sensitive cell all the way to a world-altering sensory organ, what's the big takeaway for us today? Well, it means that basically every eye on Earth follows the same fundamental recipe. You start with light-sensitive cells. You put them in a cup to figure out direction, you shrink the opening to create focus, and then you add a lens to make that image bright and clear. It's a blueprint that evolution figured out once and has been using ever since. And for me, that's the most profound takeaway. The same genetic toolkit that built the first simple eyes over 500 million years ago is still at work inside of us right now. This ancient sense is a direct link connecting nearly all animals on this planet. The invention of sight completely rewrote the rules of life on Earth. So it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As technology and biology keep evolving, what new way of perceiving the world is just around the corner, waiting to trigger the next big explosion?